Hello everybody, Wagger here. Today I'm making this video because the Bloodborne movie has been announced, and you know who was making it? Jacksepticeye, none other than Jacksepticeye. Now, whatever it is with YouTubers making movies nowadays, I don't know, but I'm all for it. And if there's anyone who deserves to make the Bloodborne game into a movie, it's Jack. With all his knowledge on it, playthrough, um, it could really have high hopes of it being the best movie to date for any video game. Um, It's already well known that Bloodborne fans, the memes, they want sequels, remakes, but with the announcement of Blue Point Studio, there's definitely going to be no remake, so that dream is gone. Now, seeing that there's a movie got my hopes up, and probably a lot of other people's hopes up or fans for the game, maybe we will get that remake or sequel, who knows. But this video is going to be different from what I would normally do. We'll be talking about Bloodborne, of course. Specifically, what I would want to see in the Bloodborne movie. Uh, Now if you're wondering what my credentials are, I guess I've 100%ed the game, so I guess that gives me something to talk about. Now, I know that the movie's being made by Jack, that's already stated. There's already, good faith that he'll be able to get it to be good. You know, I got into Bloodborne because of Jack's playthrough, and I thought, wow, this is awesome. Ages ago, I tried to play Bloodborne, and I wasn't good enough, so I went back, and when I saw him play it, it helped me get through the game. So let's talk about Bloodborne and what it should be able to do, or what I would like to see in the game, at least. Sorry, the movie. Now, the setting. Every Bloodborne fan can agree that out of all the Souls game, Bloodborne has an amazing atmosphere and setting. The architecture, the buildings, it's just S tier. Now I'm not saying that other FromSoft games don't do this, but Bloodborne captures the essence of what this world is like in Ruin. How many of the residents have just turned into beast-like creatures. The aesthetics, the gothic style, the monsters, they just fit this universe so perfectly. It makes it apparent to the player or the hunter that this world is in trouble, and the very first thing that happens to the player, is you wake up from the blood administration. Um, it needs to capture the world's hopelessness. This movie, you know, it needs to really show that it can really get worse. As you walk the streets of Yharnam, you see that with all the people. You see that with the people burning bodies, the dead corpses, bodies just piled on top of each other, the blood, infected dogs, animals, crows, you know, and just how unwelcoming everything has become. Yeah, but that's basically it for the setting. If it's got to really hit home that Bloodborne is a place or a universe that is all out of hope and it's really needing like a savior. But as you can see from like the clips I'm using in the video, the countless different locations from Central Ward, Cathedral, Yharnam, Old Yharnam, the architecture and the setting and just the overall atmosphere is just absolutely critical for Bloodborne, and it's going to be needed for the movie. Now, again, because it's an animated movie, it's probably going to excel at that, so I don't think there's any problems there that might come through. But yeah, it needs to capture the horrors through the hunter's eyes about how Yharnam has just become completely mental. Everyone has lost it. Everyone's gone drunk with power, blood, the old blood. They're all infected. They're all becoming grotesque creatures. But it also needs to show that the creatures that you're killing were not originally beasts. They were people at first. They need to intertwine the hunter de Jura's outlook on the people and the residents that have become infected. It's the first thing that he says when you enter Old Yharnam. They need to, they need to make you feel sympathy for the beast, or reveal it at least in the movie that what you're killing, they weren't just mindless creatures. They were once people with families, brothers, sisters, fathers, mothers, daughters. They were sons. It needs to capture what it feels like to just have like a cosmic horror happen right in front of your face. Now, it being animated, I think, is such a great idea because in my head, I'm thinking it would be cool for a live action Bloodborne movie, but I don't think it'll be able to properly show how how violent and grotesque it can be. There's some limitations for how realistic something can look, and animation just really helps bring the setting a lot like better. For example, think of like Gurman's fight arena, his boss battle. The arena is just filled with these white flowers. It's so nice. It's glowy. The house is on fire. The hunter's dream is on fire. The blood moon. It's just perfect. So the setting has to really, really be top tier. Now, how do you make the setting, you know, feel good? Well, the music. Now, when you play through the game, the music is kind of like silent. The ambiance is really all there is. You have to hear the sound of the city, the change, the creatures, the monsters. But during the boss fights, the music is an exemplary part of the game. Without it, it'd just be really boring, right? Each stage needs to feel unique or different. Now, that's with the bosses at least. The bosses' music are always amazing. First one comes to mind from Bloodborne would probably be Ludwig. I do like the Cleric Beast one. It's pretty good, pretty standard. Father Gascoigne's is pretty good. Speaking of which, I should probably go back to the settings, but this also I guess intertwines the story. But Father Gascoigne is a prime example of what it means to lose everything. He's turning to a beast, and his daughter, who is wanting to make sure that her mother is okay, was ultimately killed by Father Gascoigne, and how the hunt has ultimately infected him, and he's just gotten a bit drunk with the old blood and power. And during the fight, you can hear him say like, what's that smell? Is it blood or something along the lines of that? So it needs to incorporate elements like that from the game. Otherwise, there's no point. Um, Back to the music. It's top tier. It has to be composed just as good as it is in the game. The atmosphere changes due to different areas, and it really makes you feel like the town or the area, the woods, the forest, or the schools, even the choir, are more haunted than what they are. With each of the boss fights, like I've just mentioned, they're very unique. You can feel the raw emotion when playing throughout the game. It needs to really feel like you're in an abandoned or like just a world without any hope. That's really the great quality and character of Bloodborne. It needs to do this. Yeah, just listen to some of the music or like a snippet from Ludwig's boss fight and how the music transforms everything about it. I only played a little bit because, well, I want the video to keep going. But if you want to listen for it yourself, just search up Ludwig Holy Played theme song, whatever. It's really good. As you can see, it really changes the atmosphere of the fight and the mood. It's just such an important factor. Without it, there might as well just be no game or movie for that fact. Again, most of the things in the game aren't really told to you, but the Healing Church. Now, the Healing Church is responsible for administrating the blood throughout the Yharnam city, which they need to cure the beastly plague. That's what they say it's for, but it ultimately causes it. So I think they need to explain how they're, they're really all to blame for this. Like they're the reason why the monsters are round and round rampant because they want to evolve humanity. Now, I don't want them to be like, oh, they're clearly bad guys. I don't want them to have like a bad guys and good guys because in Bloodborne there isn't really a good guy or a bad guy throughout the story. There are two thoughts of belief in Bloodborne. There's the Healing Church, and then there's Wilhelm's idea of using insights to evolve mankind or get into closer contact with the Great Ones. Now, the blood is causing monsters. I hope they include the atrocities that the Healing Church have also done with the experimentation with the blood, and show how horrific they've been, and how that they also had executioners to get rid of the rival blood, the Vile Bloods. The Vile Bloods were killed by the Healing Church executioner, labeling them as heretics. they've been seen as a rival which could threaten their control over Yharnam because their blood was more powerful and didn't turn people into beasts. But at the same time, they were also like vampiric people, and they weren't really great people either. So they ultimately almost caused the extinction of the Virebloods. Now in the movie, I don't want them to portray them as like good. It completely depends, but I'm hoping they just kind of expand upon it, give it some more detail and depth. But again, in good faith that Jack will help get the game going, and with the movie, I mean. But yeah, they need to at least mention them or something like that. I also hope they include like the NPCs from the game. I hope they get regular people in the Bloodborne universe, like they show normal people first and how that they're transforming or how horrific it can be. Like you've got the NPCs who are hiding inside the buildings, waiting for the night to pass by. You've got the people in the Cathedral Wood Church who are surviving there, hoping for it to pass. I hope they show the horrors of how even the cosmic ones, the great ones, interact with people, especially women in the Bloodborne universe, because there is an idea of like a motherhood in the game, and it's kind of disturbing because they like impregnate them through cosmic ways. It's super weird. I don't know how they're gonna get this into Bloodborne, like the movie, but they might as well try their best. Again, it's an R-rated movie, so they might be really graphic here. So does it need does it need to be in the movie? To be honest, kind of yeah, it does. This is Bloodborne we're talking about. This is the whole theme and of the Great Ones. If you don't really have it, there's no point because the whole point of the Great Ones are they're trying to reproduce, but they can't because they're too complex. We'll get to that later in the later sections with the Great One. That later section is now the Great Ones. The biggest and coolest identity or character of Bloodborne is the Great Ones. That makes it so like unique. It's cosmic entities and beings. Now they show up halfway through the game, or depending on how much insight you have in the game, you can actually see one a little bit earlier with the amygdala that transport you to the DLC um, later. Now in the base game, there's like two. There's Murgo, the Wet Nurse, and there's the Moon Presence. Oh, I mean you can count Ebriatus as well, the daughter of the Cosmos. Let me know if I'm missing any, but yeah, those are the main great ones. Now, I hope they show them to be the super cool mystical monsters and not some like misunderstood creatures. They are like from higher planes of existence and they're linked to, from what I know, the sea and space. Most of them, at least. The cause is linked to the sea because in the Hunter's Nightmare you can see the Great One cause just disperse into the ocean after you're done fighting the boss. And this from space, or really the other plane of existence, the moon, the moon presence as it descends down from the moon. So I suppose it can be interpreted as it invading dreams, as it's in the hunter's dream. But some of them are inhabiting the nightmare frontier again, the amygdalas. Now, with them having to procreate, it can't really do this because each one of the great ones are so different that there's no way that they can possibly create any offspring. So they do this by impregnating humans. Yeah, it's Bloodborne. Again, I don't know how they can do this in the game. Sorry, the movie, but yeah, there's that. Another thing that I think like needs to be touched upon or showed. I don't know how long the runtime is for Bloodborne, the movie, but they need to show the chalice dungeons now. But by chalice dungeons, I don't mean like going through it. I mean like the superhuman Prometheans that used to live in the dungeons. Now before you click off the video, I know like it's like the most boring part of Bloodborne. If you're trying to 100% it and you're trying to go get Queen of Yharnam boss trophy, that thing really sucks. But anyways, like yeah. They were superhumans who carved out the challenge dungeons, and they would harbor the Great Ones and worship them. They knew about the Great Ones before anyone else, and I hope they expand on this in the movie. We'll have to see, but for the most part, all we know is that they were in contact with the Great Ones before the Healing Church. Um, yeah. Next we have the Hunter's Dreams. So the Hunter's Dreams. At first, while playing through Bloodborne, I didn't really understand why it's in the game. But besides it just being like a little hub area, like Fire and Shrine, but it's actually the reason a hunter can come back and keep hunting until you're freed from it. And in Bloodborne, it has three endings, so I don't know how they're going to choose the ending, but I really hope they expand upon the hunter's dreams, what the little pillars are, and the distance of what it actually is, and how it came to be, and why is it only specifically unique to hunters? Is it because the blood? We, I hope it's expanded upon, or is it the insight you gain? Who knows? Now, again, with the three endings, they got to choose a mainline story or what to go off with. We'll just have to see how they handle it and which canon ending they choose. The first hunters. Now, the first hunters in the DLC, where you go to the hunter's nightmare and you find pieces of information that alludes to how the first hunters they had slaughtered the fishing village and they killed um the Great One Cause, or some say Cosm. Now, when you go to the DLC, everyone is forsaking the Bergenworth scholars because they had come here and just ruined the town. They killed other cause, and they left the newborn Great One, well, the orphan of cause, alone, and that's why it's the hunter's nightmare. All the hunters who are damned to that realm are paying for what Gurman and Lady Maria had done. Now, Lady Maria feels guilty after doing all the atrocities that she's committed, like slaughtering the village and helping Gurman with it. She throws away her weapon, and you can see that when you go pick up her weapon after fighting the two shark infested or infected monsters. But it would be really cool if they expand upon it and how it's sort of like a torture for the hunters in the realm. In the movie, I would say it wouldn't necessarily have to be in the movie, but I would love it to see if they touch upon it and include their background and their lore and their story. It would really expand upon Bloodborne a lot. I reckon it'd be a great thing to have. Now, this does it for my video on my take on Bloodborne and what I think should be in the movie or what needs to be at least said. I made this video because I really hope it gets adapted well and doesn't end up being slop where Sony just looks at it and says, "Yeah, this isn't getting a remake or a sequel." I hope justice is served for it. Now, before everyone gets angry or disagrees with my opinions or whatever, go ahead. I don't really care. Now, this was just my opinion on what I want to see, so don't get mad. But if you do, go crazy. If you want me to add anything or you think I missed something, say it in the comments, let me know, or show me some love for the video or disdain for my video, whatever helps, with a like or a dislike. Consider subscribing. Again, I'm not like a filmmaker or film bro or anything like that. I just am a really big fan of Bloodborne. I have pretty good faith that Jacksepticeye will help deliver this movie, and I'm really hoping that it gets adapted well. I know a lot of Bloodborne fans are probably hoping this goes well too, because this is big. If Bloodborne gets adapted well, who knows? Maybe there'll be an Elden Ring movie, or even a Dark Souls movie. Who knows? The possibilities are endless. Or a Sekiro movie. That'd be really cool. But anyway, thank you so much for watching my video. I really hope you I don't know got some sort of entertainment out of it, or you agree with anything I say. Again, let me know. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you later. That's all. Wagyu out.